Okay, so I got one other thing. If you're tired of waking up the day after the elections and you find out that the initiatives you voted for passed and few, if any, of the candidates you voted for succeeded, well, look around you, because you are surrounded by people living that same experience. I believe the major reason we see the pattern recur election after election should be evident to all of us. We are right on the issues. We cannot form consensus on which candidates. And makes note that I don't say compromise. Compromise has its place if a principle is fulfilled in that compromise. If the principle is that you and I are going to eat dinner tonight, I don't care. Italian, Chinese, it's not violating a principle to compromise on that. We satisfied the meal. But true consensus on real issues takes a long time, and we've got 2 years before the next major election cycle. That is going to be the theme of this Tea Party for the next 2 years, reaching consensus and creating activists. And now it is my great pleasure to introduce our first speaker, Kelly Emerson. You may know her, and I know her as Jane Citizen, the driving force behind what has become the Snow Isle Tea Party. Last November, she left the frustration of leading the Tea Party for the joy of becoming an Island County Commissioner. And she's here to share with us her experience and thoughts. Welcome her, please.
Well, here we are again. I remember it being a little bit warmer last year, but let's just hope the rain stays away from us, huh? It is great. It is great to be here, and you know, it is really wonderful to be able to be here as a guest speaker today and get away from all the trouble it takes to organize these events. I know how difficult they are, and I'm really thankful for the bunch that's sticking around to try to keep the movement going strong here in Everett and Island County. So thanks to Beth and Charlie and Colleen. And you know, hey, my counterpart Peggy Bennett, that has been with me ever since the first Tax Day Tea Party that we did 3 tax days ago now, down at the marina. Peggy had some heart trouble last night, and so she's not able to join us today. So please include Dick and Peggy Bennett in your prayers, because she's a wonderful patriot. They both are, and it's a shame they're not being able to join us here today, but she seems to be doing okay. Well, they've asked me, as they're calling me the graduate of the Tea Parties, and yes, I did take the plunge forward and tried to lead by example and go after a political office. And I was successful in that campaign, and it took, you know, it was a lot of effort. I had a lot of help. Thank you. And it is a lot different being in there, and it was sad to have to give up spending so much time with the Tea Party. So I'm real thrilled to be able to be back here today and join you guys. I want to talk about what it takes to get our candidates elected. I may be preaching to the choir somewhat, because I know a lot of you were helping out a lot in past campaigns. Unfortunately, we didn't have the success we would have liked to have had locally here. But you know, when I got this started 3 tax days ago, I had never really been significantly involved in any campaigns. I guess, you know, I was one of those that just liked to kind of complain about what was happening and hadn't really done a lot about it. Well, I took the opportunity in Councilman John Coster's 2009 re-election campaign to get a little bit more involved, and working closely with Chuck Beck, his campaign manager, I came to some realization of some of the things that are involved. It takes a lot of money, and it takes a lot of volunteer efforts to get these campaigns to be effective and to get your candidates elected. And shortly thereafter, when the next campaigns came out and I started sending out the emails to the group, I started really pushing, you know, hey, get out there and volunteer with these campaigns, which a lot of you did. I heard a lot of that. It was great. And I started saying, you know, send some money to these campaigns. And I got some responses from people. And I got responses like, oh, you Republicans, it's always just all about the money to you. And I really I didn't know anybody really knew I was a Republican or anything, but, you know, I was able, at that time, I was able to respond back and say, well, you need to consider that there's a lot of money involved in, you know, the purchasing of the signs. There is a lot of cost involved in those. The mailings, there's a lot of cost involved in the mailings. And just, you know, lots of other things. Of course, the bigger campaigns, they have to have airtime and things. So those things take money. And when I responded to people, they would respond back, you know, thank you. I never thought about that sort of thing. So I just want to make you aware of that, because as I continued along, I continued to ask for that for the campaigns. So if we, you know, that's just among the things, you know, as I jumped into it further in my own campaign, I began to realize that it actually took a lot more than just some money and some volunteer time. It takes a lot. It takes a lot of volunteer time. There's a lot of strategies involved, and it takes an organization. And if there wasn't already, even at my level, at an Island County level, with a really dysfunctional local party, if there wasn't that organization there to help me out, I'm certain that I would not have been effective. I would not have been elected. So it's one of the things we need to come to terms with. I think we need to focus on not letting the opposition divide us and conquer us in that way. I think we need to, you know, put aside looking for perfection and work together to get the, you know, our candidates out there. As Charlie put it, you know, we need to focus on consensus and get our candidates out there. And I know, like I said, I know a lot of you that helped out in past campaigns in more ways than one. You know, I thank you for all your efforts in all those campaigns. You know, some of them mine personally, and some of them others. I thank you for all that effort. We do have a war going on out there, the way I see it, and so, you know, I'm asking you to, in the campaigns coming up, let's try a little more. We got to try a little harder to be a little more effective and to get our candidates out there. So I'm going to step aside and give some of my time up today so that we can get an ad in to our agenda coming up. So I want to thank everybody once again. I want to thank you for being here, and thanks for all the help and all of them. And I look forward to being out in the battlefield with you in the next elections coming up. Thanks very much.